Vale, perfecto. So we do
roll straight.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
go straight. A quick intro in Spanish.
And we roll in English.
Gonza, por favor, ¿qué estamos haciendo hoy?
Bienvenido a este vídeo, bienvenido a este podcast. Vamos a ser breves con la introducción porque hoy tenemos un invitado muy especial que es Cuba. Estamos en su casa, entonces vamos ahora a empezar con la conversación, algo que nos hace especial ilusión. Ya has podido ver el día completo en el canal, que si no lo has visto te lo dejamos por aquí. Y con esto vamos a por ello. Mr. Cuba Zilin, thank you so much. It means, we told you right before starting, just like when we came here, it means so much for us. Not just this moment, which this moment is like the tangible thing of the way I think that we feel about you and what you've done and you're still doing for us.
Gracias, amigo.
But yeah, I want to start just saying a massive thank you for, first of all, being how you are and being such a mirror for ourselves to keep growing, to keep evolving, to keep doing our best, and also with that being how you are with us.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Listen, it's what we do. End of the day, I see how hard you guys work, and it's something I can relate to, and it's something I love to see as well, because in this day and age, you don't have many people that have the drive to succeed both in and outside of the gym. Mm-hmm. And we've got a culture at the moment where people are of an opinion that you've got to be a one-trick pony, where, you know, if you're training, you just have to focus on training. You can't focus on business, you can't focus on coaching clients. But in reality, training window is a very small window of our time, right? And I feel like that training window for us is very special. Yeah. What makes the training window more special is having a divide between our training, our business, our personal life. Because if you have that large divide between, when it comes to training time, you know it's time that's special, because after that, you need to get back to work. You need to get hold of all your other responsibilities. So I feel like being busier and being able to do all these things as well. As you guys know, I know how successful you are, I know how busy you are, guys, with your clients, and I know how much you do for your clients as well. It's, for me personally, and I'm not sure how you guys feel, you can tell the listeners, for me it almost creates a bigger sense of importance and urgency when it comes to me getting in the gym.
Yeah.
I feel like this is my time now, this is go time.
Yeah.
It just makes the experience much more special, as I'm of opinion if that's all I had, where I just waited about all day and did nothing and I just trained, I don't feel like it would be quite as special.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because it's like, I want to say, it's like finding the balance between my thing and the other's thing.
Yeah.
Because in the client's area, in the client's the time we spend with clients, we have to be like putting the other side.
Yeah.
Every time we talk to another person or we are doing like maybe a check-in or whatever, and that is like my moment, my training is my moment, my space in the day, and outside the gym is like, okay, I'm from whatever person needs me.
So I'm going to tell you one thing that I tell a lot of people, and that's something I very much stand by, and I always will. You have to be selfish in order to be selfless. So you have to be selfish for yourself to be able to selfless and give back to other people. So that time of being selfish is my time in the gym. No phones. The only time I use a phone is either recording the clips or music. But I've got a very strict rule with phones. There's no messaging, no WhatsApp, no work. When training time comes. Unless I have a client compete and they're about to get on stage. But even then, if I do, they will not be messaging my phone. I will get Meg to open her phone up and they can message her phone, because when I train, that's my time. I don't want no distractions. I want nothing else. I just want my training time. And often when I go in the gym, sometimes I put the headphones on and I'll not have any music on because I want that time to just be me, doing the business, doing what I love. Because everything else that we do around it, that's what's fueled by. But yeah, I think a big point is you have to be selfish to be selfless, because you give back to a lot to other people. And I think in order for you to be happy continuing to give back to other people, you have to be happy being able to do what you need to do for yourself as well.
Yeah. And something that comes to my mind listening to you now is you've always treated that way, or it's been something that has evolved. And I ask you this because, for example, for me, obviously we are a bit younger than you, and when I really started into I want to grow, not just I want to bodybuild, I just wanted to grow, I want to be big, I want to be huge. I was in uni, and pretty much my whole day was to training. But through different life experiences, like for example last year, the shows with Alex in Dubai, the Worlds, being here, like experiences that has forced me to evolve and to grow and to develop even more, like maybe this way of bodybuilding that you know right now is not the way that is going to give you the best results and the way that you are going to be able to maintain during the time. So for me, what I've experiencing is like every year, every experience that I have, for example, every time I come here, I see you guys, I'm here around you. The way bodybuilding is for me evolves. Grows. Do you feel that for you, or is like something that you have find like a sweet spot where you feel great and just keep moving in that spot?
I think it grows because the more I learn about bodybuilding, the more I do, the more I would say, the more obsessed I get with bodybuilding, the more the love grows for it. And I think that comes a part of having a deeper understanding of nutrition, of training, of recovery. And then one thing I've noticed as well over the years is the most important thing is, for me, the most important driving factor is making sure that my bodybuilding is priority, nothing else. Because if my bodybuilding is not prioritised, that's when everything else suffers. And I found that when I prioritise my bodybuilding, I'm actually able to perform better at everything else. So I think that's a big lesson, where you have to prioritise your happiness and what is the main driving factor of your success. For me, the main driving factor of my success and my happiness is always bodybuilding. So that is the reason why I tend to lean into that more. And conversations I have with Jordan's exactly the same. For Jordan, when he's unhappy, business isn't going as well, because he doesn't have the mental capacity to deal with things. Well, I probably worded that a little bit wrongly, but when he's happy, he's a lot more driven, he's a lot more creative as well, and I'm very much the same way. It's like when things are going well, bodybuilding's going well, that has to be a priority, because that is what drives everything else around it. And I think sometimes you can get lost in trying to chase something that doesn't necessarily make you happy, and in turn, it actually, whatever you're chasing actually takes away from the goal. And takes away from the bigger picture as well, because the goal that's interlinked. So I think there's a lot of considerations for people to make. Is, you love bodybuilding, so remember why you love it.
And for us, that's a huge. I think I've told you this before through WhatsApp, that the way that you inspire us and the way that you impact us is just by being the example. Which I think, is the strongest way you can inspire someone, is just be the own example. And for us, I think I can't think about anyone that's a better example of truly prioritizing what you do and what you love.
I think perception is everything, right? I think some people talk about it, some people actually do it. It's like, you will never ever see me miss a meal. You'll never see me actually not eat a meal on time, never mind miss a meal. No matter what, it gets done. And that is always a priority. But it's like, likewise, we say I inspire you, but at the same time I could say you guys inspire me to be better as well. So it works hand in hand, because you guys might look at me and say, look, he's walking the walk, he's doing what he needs to be doing. But people like yourself almost push me to even work harder and challenge myself even more, because no matter what we think, we can always do better. I think the there's always a realization that you can always work harder, you can always do better across anything that you do. And I think the same applies with training, the same applies with all the variables that we have in control as well. And I'm not perfect by any means. I would know that. I know that as well. There's always areas where that I'm always looking to improve, and I know that I still need to improve and work on. But again, it's work in progress.
Yeah.
It's development, right?
Yeah.
Every year we can kind of look back and we can notice the things that are holding us back, and the things that we could have done better. We'll learn from them, apply it, and get better.
Yeah.
I think this is why I've always been able to make a good amount of progress every year. Is because I'm very open-minded to these things, and I can analyse things pretty well. And more importantly, I can be very honest with myself as well. I'll be like, right, this is the thing that needs addressing, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I would like to emphasize about you, is that yes, you are very good at some areas, but in those areas you are also super mind open and like ready to learn something new.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, because for me,
I think that's why you are good.
yeah,
Right.
The problem is these days it's like you've got so many people in all these different camps, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like you don't have to do anything. Like if I look at something and I really think it makes sense, or I look at something and I think that it might actually see an improvement in what I do, I will of course do that. I'm not one of the people that is just stuck in one way, because I think that is one way to just rob yourself from progress. If you're just stuck in that one idea, it's like, how are you ever going to learn? You have to explore new things, and sometimes you can explore something new and you might realise it might not work.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the question you have to ask yourself. I mean, unless you actually try it, you never actually know if it's going to be beneficial. You never actually know if it's going to work. But until you do try it, you never know. So you have to explore these things. But at the same time, we have to realise is, don't just try things for sake of trying things. I never do that either. Whenever I try something, it's always a calculated decision.
Yeah.
It's not just a decision for novelty. I think a lot of people find themselves trying something new just out of novelty, or just because they might be bored of something. But it's like, I'm never bored of making progress. And the fact of the matter is, it's hard, right? Yeah. So I think some people almost get disheartened from not seeing enough progress. But reality is, you're not going to see progress in front of your eyes. You have to be patient, and you have to be committed towards that goal. So whenever you do make these decisions to try something new, make sure it's a calculated decision. Make sure it's not just a decision that's made out of emotions. And the biggest thing and the best attribute that I've had is being able to control my emotions and making sure that I'm not making emotional decisions. I think that has to be a huge factor, because making emotional decisions is what leads to mistakes. And that's something I'm still working on massively, because having the ability to completely control emotions, I think, is extremely hard. And I don't think many people can actually do that. But learning how to do it, learning how to control it, will allow you to make better decisions across anything that you do. So I think that's a big thing that I definitely am still working on. I'm definitely much better at it now over the years, because back in the day when I was like 21, you know, it was just emotional decisions, and I was making stupid mistakes across everything that I did. But now I definitely have the ability to kind of look from outside in a little bit more, and having great people around me that I can speak to as well, that prevent me making emotional decisions as well. So that's a big one.
I would love to talk with you about the first impressions that you had about us. Because I remember like super clear the first time I saw you, and I tell you like quickly the story how it was, because we've never talked this before.
Not between us, but yes, to the audience.
It was the first time that we came here to Rotterdam. Almost like a bit more than a year ago. Super like childish. With that, like, okay, let's go to something
to
new.
the UF.
And just straight, we were in the door. Obviously, we didn't know what was inside, and we saw you in the reception, and it was like, "Fuck, Cuba is massive." And then, like, entering, just do cardio, like take a quick look, and go out. And during those days, we were sick. We trained here. We saw each other, but we didn't talk. We didn't tell you anything, because also, like, we didn't knew you, but just by seeing you, we understood that, okay, we are going to respect your space and what you are doing right now. We don't. It's like you are doing your thing, we are doing our thing also. And it got to the point where one day, I didn't know how it was, but we start. I remember how it was. I was doing a squat set, and you were training with Mark and Luke.
Yeah.
And you spotted me.
Yeah.
And after that, like some days after that, we talked, and you told us to have a session with you.
Yeah.
So that for us was a huge like, okay, we were just like two kids coming here, and like the boss from here is spotting me in the squad, is telling us to train together. Okay, like crazy. This is why we do this. So how, I guess like the question and what makes us curious is what how was your first impression? What you see in us? What did you think in those moments?
Hard work and passion, to be honest, and that's what I love. You know, this is why I started bodybuilding. It's the love of training. It's like I started training when I was a kid, before Instagram, before all the social media, and we all trained because we loved it. And we all, there was not a single camera in the gym ever, but we all trained super hard, like a life depended on it, and that's exactly what he was doing, right? So when I saw that, I thought, right, that's cool, I love to see it, so let's get some sessions in, not a problem. But there's not that many people that actually train like this, that's the thing. It's a lot of people think they train hard, but it's like I've trained people before, and I know that they're like stopping probably 5 reps before it's actually getting hard. So, for me, the first impression is definitely a hard-working, passionate team, right? Both of you. So I thought, right, we need to make it happen. Let's get some sessions in, and that's what I love. If I didn't think that, I definitely wouldn't have asked you to come and train with me, because it just would be it wouldn't be an enjoyable session for me, because it would just turn into more of a spotting session. But it's never been like that, I know that you can put the work in, and I know that you want to be there. That's the difference. You want to be in the gym. You want to work hard. You want to get shit done. I think that is something that's very hard to find these days. Mm-hmm. It really is. It is very hard to find, and I think it's something that commands respect, right? Because I think these days as well, a lot of people do this bodybuilding thing for probably the wrong reasons. You can only train as intense as we do and as hard as we do, week in, week out, go through the pain that we do as well, because we're pretty much in pain every day. I'm always in pain anyway, so you can only go through that if you truly have passion for something, right? And if you don't have a passion for something, you're not going to be able to put the same amount of work in. It's just impossible, because what is going to drive you if you don't have that passion? Nothing. Like, you just can't. Don't get me wrong, you will be able to work to a point, but if you're not passionate about something, you're not going to be able to work to that level.
Yeah. And also for me, for example, that was a huge being here the second time I came here, that we trained together for 4 weeks. It was when you were like before the Arnolds, because it's very different of training, for example, together one session, which is like, okay, this is one session, than experiencing in myself that no, like this is all the time. Like this is not a thing for a YouTube video, for a reel, or for one session that we train together. It's like, this is how we train.
Every session, every day, every set. There's not a single day that we go in and just train. I wouldn't like to train like that. That's just not, I don't think that's the way I am. Don't get me wrong, we all go through weeks where we're tired, we need a break, we need a rest, but as soon as we're fresh and ready to go, it's game time,
And for me that was great, and for Alex also, obviously, like through me sharing the experience, because it was almost like, when you are in a point where you don't feel, you feel like, okay, there should be something more that I'm not being able to see, or I'm not being able to reach to that something more. And for me, that month with training with you was exactly that. Like, okay, this is the level up that I was looking for, and this is like okay, now, like a checkpoint, level up, now go by your own, keep doing your thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We always need to experience that, I think. I was very lucky to experience this when I was really young. I was 16, and I trained with Tony Megson, who's some of the guys listeners will probably know who they are. Ian Harrison's training partner. Ian Harrison was a British bodybuilding legend in the 90s, before Dorian actually. He was huge, one of the best juniors ever. He was immense, and he was really strong, trained really hard as well. And I got the pleasure of training with his training partner for years. So I started training when I was like 16. I trained with him for like 18 months straight, and back then he was still like at his peak, so he was still training really hard, and that's what really taught me the intensity, especially training legs and stuff with him. It was a torture. It was volume and high intensity, where every set was taken to death with force reps, and it was, you know, just torture on end. And I remember my legs was literally hurting from the Sunday morning we were training them. I used to train legs at Sunday at 8 a.m. every week, and yeah, it was nuts, because all Saturday I'd be thinking about it, and I'd be so nervous every Sunday morning because I knew that I'd have to perform, which is amazing. You know, it's a great feeling. And my legs would hurt literally until the Friday. I would be holding on to stuff to just sit down, and yeah, it was crazy. It taught me a lot, and it definitely showed me how to really train.
Yeah.
I think you've got to, you can always find that next gear up. And then I got the chance to train with Jordan for quite some time when he lived in Manchester as well, a good few years back, and that was another eye-opening experience where you've got to be able to bring it every session. And I think that is where I learned, like, look, this is where you need to make sure you're fully recovered for these sessions, because if you're not going to be able to perform the way you need to. That was another learning curve with Jordan, where beforehand I didn't quite have a deeper understanding, where you need to make sure that you auto-regulate. You need to make sure that obviously you take care of your training blocks, where you're not just trying to redline it and going to the gym and just going through the motions. If you feel like that and you're that tired, you just need to rest, reset, and then go again, because the sessions Jordan again was brutal, you know. Mm-hmm. So all these lessons have always been a valuable point, and this is what gets us back to the point where every year you develop, you learn more, and the more you learn, the more obsessed you get with it, because it's almost like you walk through a door and another door opens. And with bodybuilding, it's forever, because you can always do better.
Yeah.
And the progress never really stops. It really doesn't. So there's always an option, there's always something that you can do to kind of improve your craft, improve your knowledge. So it's a wonderful sport, and with what we do as coaching, right, it's repetitions. We constantly go over the information, we constantly go over the data as well. So it's like all this information, everything that we do, it's kept fresh in our brain, because we're not only doing it ourselves, but we're doing it with clients. So sometimes things that we potentially may have forgotten, we don't actually forget, because we're going through the process with clients as well. So we see things clearly. So I think being able to learn these patterns, it's a great thing.
Yes.
You know, it really
like
is.
Experience in yourself.
Yep.
What we are trying to coach others.
Yeah.
That's like double the effect.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. This is why I tell you, it's like some people have opinions of just being a one-trick pony, but it's like, if you're just a coach, you're not going to be as great of a coach as you could be if you actually understand what it's like to go through the process over and over again. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. If you're just an athlete and you're just getting told what to do, you don't have a deeper understanding of what you need to do in certain situations, certain occasions. So to get the best of both worlds, you need to do both. Because then that way, not only mentally kept fresh, but you know exactly what decision you need to make. And if you have a coach as well, which I always have a coach in one way or another, I always do. Like I've always been back working with Jordan, obviously, and it's like, it's not like an official coaching relationship, but I still send him pictures, and I still tell Jordan, look, this is what I want to do. It's like form clips assessment. Although I know with my training at a certain level, I'll still send some of my videos to Nick for assessment. Do I need to do that? I probably don't, but I want to do that, because for me, I think every athlete and every coach who wants to be a great coach, who wants to be better, you can always benefit from having someone there to keep you grounded, for one, and for two, to keep you moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a double whammy. When you think about it and you look at it from that perspective, a lot of doors open again.
Yeah, and it's great because that's something that I've been experiencing these last 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That is our first year helping people to compete this year.
Yep.
Obviously, Alex last year won the world title. It's my first show. So I'm almost feeling that experience of, okay, my own process is helping the process of the people that we are helping, but at the same time, like their own process, like just listening to an audio or feedback or something, helps me to my day to day, and it's like a super beautiful synergy that works together and makes everyone, is almost like everything that's around you, and that's something also that is great for me, which is like, if you grow, we grow. If we grow, you grow. And we can grow together. It's not like a battle between who grows more. It's like, okay, no. Let's grow together, and let's almost like, I don't know if this does make sense in English, like let's eat from each other to keep growing and to keep evolving.
Yeah, 100%. It's, we can all get something from out of each other, and it's like a lot of people have a bit of a wrong mentality where they're very insecure in their own ability, and I think they're very insecure in their own self. Therefore, they're not willing to help other people. They're not willing to listen to other people. Whereas I think if you're confident in your own ability, you will always want to share with others, because there's enough bread for us to all eat on the table, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at the world, right, especially like coaching and stuff, it's like we have an opportunity to coach endless people if we really want to. So it's not like someone's going to take business away from another, because even if that happens, where people leave and whatever, there's always other people that can coach, right? But again, it won't really get to you if you have confidence in your own ability. So you have to understand that. But I think that's what it's all about, man. Yeah. I think anyone can benefit from supporting each other, for sure.
Yeah. Because in the case of the audience, maybe most part they are not coaches, but they do have like responsibilities. They do have like professional.
But this applies in every avenue of life, though. It doesn't just apply in coaching, right? It can apply in any job. I think there's a lot of people that are insecure in their own jobs, where if they worked with the people that they work with, they could both grow and develop. But unfortunately, people have the mentality that if they help someone else, that other person might do better. And that's just a wrong mindset and a jealous mindset to have. And I think having a jealous mindset is incredibly harmful, because you should never feel jealous from other people that do better than you. You should be inspired by what they do and how they do it. And that's exactly how I feel by people I have around me, because people around me are far more successful than me, and I don't feel jealous. I'm really happy for them. But how I feel about it is I'm inspired to do better. It drives me to do better. Yeah. And I think having that sort of mindset really helps, because I feel great about others doing well. It doesn't bring me down, it brings me up. And I feel like there's a lot of people in this world, and this applies for coaching as well, this applies for any other business, anyone that's self-employed, or anyone that is even employed working in a corporation. I think there's way too much jealousy, where people just want, in fact, people, instead of supporting each other, instead of trying to bring each other up, they'll try and get one up on each other. So, they'll try and do something to bring someone down in order to elevate themselves. And when they do that, in essence, nobody wins, nobody gets elevated. Yeah. Both people start coming down. Yeah. So
have you ever, Cuba, like feel in your life, feel in that place of being jealous of someone?
I wouldn't say it's that. I think it was from a place of me having the wrong mindset, and it was in a place of me not having enough confidence in my own ability. I think that's what it came down to ultimately. Okay. I think it was more so me being a little bit more immature. I've been in places like that before. I think in my early days, like 100%, where it's almost like envy. But when I felt that way, 1, it didn't contribute to any of my success. 2, it made me feel worse. And again, it made me make poor decisions. So I think your perception is everything. I think anyone can change their outlook on life, and anyone can change their mindset a little bit. And again, if someone is feeling that way, it's not the end of the world, because if you recognise that you are feeling that way, I think that has to be the first step, is actually recognition that, look, you're feeling that way, but it's actually wrong. You need to feel, and again, it's not as easy as saying you need to feel that way, but when you think about the bigger picture, it's like, what benefit is you feeling that way going to have on you and your own performance? If anything, it's going to take away from your performance. It's going to make you feel down. It's going to make you feel shit. How is that going to contribute? Now, if you look at it from a perspective where you look at the person and look at what they're doing, if you know and you have the confidence that you can probably do the same, if not better, that should already bring you up, because you know in the back of your mind that you might not be as successful as that person, and that's fine, right? But you know, if you work hard enough and you apply yourself, you will be there. So I think, personally for me, it was more of a case of, right, I need to work fucking harder. That was the realization for me. So rather than feeling sorry for yourself, pull your fucking head out of your ass and really start working. And I think when I've had that moment, I think that's what's kind of changed my perception on things a lot, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's like the main decision that you need to make, in the sense that, okay, this this person has done this.
Yeah.
I also can do something great.
Yeah, if not better, if
not better, but you can decide whether use that as an inspiration for you to grow and to do better.
Yeah.
Or you can.
No. I've got it, guys. It's alright.
Problems. Buah, se está cayendo de ahí.
It's okay.
No pasa nada, lo vamos a poner. Yeah. Let me. No. This makes this the podcast even more special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a technical difficulty, guys. We apologise. We're back now. It's alright.
Yeah, but what I was saying was that that thing that puts in your face that, okay, I also can do that. For some people, puts in the face that I can do that and I'm not doing it. And I don't have like the balls to do it, so that's why I hate you, or I don't like you, because you are putting in my face that you are doing that I can do it and I'm not doing it.
See, I totally get that, but I can't relate to these people.
Yeah,
I just can't relate to it, because like I said, I've had moments where I had the realization that I need to work harder, and that feeling straight away turns into inspiration, because again, I'm inspired to work harder. So I think a lot of lazy people have that trait, where they'll see other people doing well and they'll make up 1,000 excuses as to why other people are doing well and they are not doing well. And that's just a weak mindset. Weak people do that, and I don't want to be a weak man. I want to be a strong man, mentally especially. And I think having a stronger mindset is something that we all need, including myself at times. I think having to, and again, it comes down to being able to control your emotions as well, doesn't it? Yeah. Because again, that's an emotional thing, really. If you're just jealous of other people because they're doing better, and you're going to get that a lot. And I know how. I've actually put that on now. It's fine. Okay. That'll not fall. Like, I know how successful you guys are in Spain, and I can imagine that you probably have a lot of people that are extremely jealous of you, because they are not willing, and they're not willing to do what you are doing. And they're not willing to do what it takes for you to do what you do. And that's okay. Yeah. But you're probably never going to change those people's minds, because they are never going to change themselves. They're always going to be lazy, and they're always going to be of a mindset if it's a victim mindset, right? Where they're in that position because of whatever. But having that victim mindset is what's really letting them down. So I can imagine you guys probably get it a lot. Yeah. Because of how successful you are, how well you've both done.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is that there is a lot of things that goes into everything that people don't see.
Yeah.
And that is like, it's okay to be that way. And if you want to see, you can see. For example, with you and the relationship that we have built is, you are doing very well, but like, okay, we see a bit more behind that. And that's why also we are now here with you. And something that also I wanted to listen to you and to talk to you is that during this this is my first prep, and it's been
This is like, I've been there, done it.
yeah, and it's been a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And something that I've realized even more, like each day I realize even more, is how important it is for me just being present in the moment.
Yeah.
So I guess the question here is like, how do you manage yourself, that hunger and that ambition for constant growing and going for more, with also like being present and
Yes.
being able to not just enjoy the moment in the sense that, oh yeah, I'm super happy,
Yeah.
but enjoy the moment in the sense that, okay, I'm here, I'm going to do my best right now, right here.
Yeah.
Like nothing else matters right now.
Yeah, not being that focused on the chasing.
Do you know what? I still find it really hard because I think having the focus of chasing something is what keeps you driven. So for me, I find it hard to be present too, but the only way I can try and work on it, and I am working on it, is try and take things day by day. You've got all these goals set, right? So you've got your goals, you've got your time frames, and now you're going through the process right now. So the only thing you can do is just literally focus on the process that you're going through right now. But don't think that it's a bad thing to, visualize these things and focus on these things, because it's not. Because these are the things that are keeping you driven. So don't think it's a bad thing. Like a lot of people say, you've got to be present. You can't be thinking about all the success that is coming. But it's like the inevitable is coming. Why is the inevitable coming? Because you are putting the work in every single day.
Yeah.
So I think it's more so appreciation of the day-to-day work that is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But again, I still need to work on that, because I get some days when I'm extremely happy and I'm extremely grateful, but then I get some days where I'm like, could be a lot better. This isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I get that all the time. It's like a roller coaster. Some days, I'll be like, it's actually,
Yeah.
things are good. Then other days, I'll be like, depends what day it is. Depends,
Yeah.
Depends how I feel when I wake up,
Yeah.
and that's literally how it is.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, be present, but at the same time, you need to have these goals and a vision to keep you moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be happy with just being present.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. I think the people that are just happy being present and just living one day at a time, these are the people that never really push above and beyond. I think to push above and beyond, you need to have these goals, you need to visualize these things, you need to have these shows plans, you need to have these business plans, you need to have all these things planned, because these are the things you're working towards, right? So yeah, be present, but lean into the bigger goals as well. This is why I love the timelines I always have, because it's like each timeline's got a set point and a goal. I'm always working towards something. I'm not just happy being present, just doing the do. It's never the case. I'm always chasing a goal. That's what it's about to me. I think, again, I could be better at being a bit more present with day to day, but it's like saying, what is being present?
Yeah.
Is it just being appreciative of your day to day? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
When people say it, it's like, I always ask them, it's like, what is being present to you?
Yeah.
Because to me, being present is appreciating your day-to-day work, but at the same time, you need to have that thing in the back of your mind and back of your head, the big goal that you're working towards, because that is what's going to help you be present and help you work on that given day.
Yeah.
Because if you're just happy being present, how are you going to work that hard? If you're not thinking about that shit?
Yeah. I think that for me, like the biggest tangible thing of being present is, for example, on the last rep of a hack squat.
Yeah.
Which is like, when you are doing that, it's not that you are feeling like, or thinking, oh, I'm super grateful for this, I'm feeling great. It's like, no, it's, you are doing something that there is no room for anything else. There is just what you are doing that moment, because what you are doing is so demanding for you that it needs to be that way.
Yep.
And something that really stuck with us some really good friends told us about like being present and all that stuff, was like the concept of the Buddha known as like the being present, like the and relaxed, and the badass, like the one that pushes and that goes forward. And they told us like
both, man.
the Buddha and the badass, they are the same person.
It's got to be.
And it's like you need the badass for be able to be the Buddha, and you need the Buddha for be able to be the badass.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because if you're just visualizing these goals and not putting the work in, it means fuck all. It means nothing.
Yeah. You're just a dreamer.
Yeah, you're just a dreamer, but you're not putting the action.
Yeah.
Needs to have the action. Every action has a reaction.
Yeah.
And that reaction generally is the success. So yeah, 100%.
And in the thing of being present, also something important is that when you are being present, you are not thinking about being present.
Yeah.
And it's like when you are enjoying.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Actually. You're enjoying the process, right?
Yeah.
And the way I look at it as well is this: every time I go through a different stage of my off-season of prep, right, I always remind myself that I need to appreciate the time I'm in right now, because I'm probably not going to revisit this exact time again for a little while. So now, for example, I'm in a little diet phase. I'm appreciating this diet phase because it's not long until I'm pushing back up. Then when I'm pushing back up, I'll appreciate pushing back up because I know it's not long until contest prep. When I'm in prep, I'll appreciate being in prep because I know that I'm not going to be back in prep for a long time. I'm not going to go through these phases again in a long time, because with bodybuilding, right, we go through each phase, and once that phase is over, we don't revisit that phase for a long time. So for me, being present with what we do and how we do it, it's more so realizing that, right, this might be a struggle right now, this might be hard, I might feel shit, but I'm not going to revisit this for a long time.
Yeah.
So I need to make most of it. I need to really make sure I dig in here, because
And it's also, that's a great point, because if you see, in life is exactly like that. The experiences you have, the experience
like
we are,
this right now
is not going to come back. Maybe we can plan something similar, but the same experience is not going to replicate.
Time passes, doesn't it? Time passes, and the thing is, the scariest thing as well, is time passes no matter what, and it's up to you how to use that time. So it's like when I explain to clients, right, it's clients that are struggling after the show sometimes, it's like time passes, it's up to you how you execute throughout that time. But imagine looking ahead 3 months from here, and then imagine looking back and thinking, if I did this a little bit better, the outcome would be completely different than what it is right now. And when I break it down like that, people have like a big realization moment. It's like, actually, that is very true. And that's something to remind myself as well sometimes when things get hard in prep or off season or whatever time. It's like, yes, but time passes. So no matter how shit I feel right now, no matter what I need to do, I still need to do it because time passes. And if time passes and I don't do it, I will only regret not doing so when the time has actually passed, because you can't get that time back. You can't rewind it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that I want to finish this conversation with being a bit selfish.
Let's go.
And is right now something that comes to my mind, and something that I was thinking yesterday was like, I would love to. I know that for me the shows are going to be something special, like a special moment, but we are not going to be together. I would love to be with you, but it's not going to be possible because we both are like doing our thing.
Yeah.
But
not physical.
Not physical. Yeah, that's the thing. Not physically.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, like, if we go to that moment, let's say like the last weeks, the last part of prep, like even those last moments, what would you tell me? What would you tell me, like, from what you know me, from what you know Alex also, what would you tell me, like, okay, you are going to do this. This this is what I want you to know, or this is what I want to translate to you.
Last few weeks of prep, what you cannot do, or my words of advice for the last few weeks of prep for you.
Yeah, not in the sense that don't do cardio.
No.
Not that an advice itself, but whatever.
What
the
comes
message,
to my mind,
the
yeah,
message.
like the message
Yeah.
that from Cuba, because I see you as my bodybuilding old brother.
Yeah, don't burn the candle, man.
Don't
Because, and I'll explain what I mean is both people like me and like both of you, right? We find it very hard to sometimes stop and sometimes not push it past a certain limit and push past a certain boundary. What you'll realise is in a contest prep, you have to sometimes pull back and not push yourself to that limit. And I think that's something you're going to find extremely hard. So, for me, I think you're going to have to emotionally detach yourself from the decisions you will have to make for this prep.
Yeah.
You will have to do that.
Yeah.
In order for it to be a success. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to emotionally detach yourself and just do, but don't do too much, and don't do not enough. I mean, that emotional attachment is key. And I think he's pretty good with that.
He's the goat with that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In my case, it's like I feel my.
You just don't give a fuck.
The strong point.
Just don't care.
Yeah.
So, for example,
I feel like the balance between emotion and intuition, and the objective thing I have to do. You know.
Yeah, I get you. You can probably do that, but I wouldn't advise doing that for 99.9% of people in the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are going to have to emotionally try to completely detach yourself from the process a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you get to that point where you do get emotional, and I think sometimes you make emotional decisions that will not go in your favour.
Yeah.
And that can be everything.
Yeah.
So I think
Because
you'll have
in
to-
your case, it's completely like correct the association you have made between the don't bend the candle, you have said.
Don't burn the candle.
Bend the
yeah.
candle
Don't
and
burn
the
candle.
emotional attachment, because in the case of Gonza, it's like if you have any emotional attachment, is to your hard worker part,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel guilty for not doing the hard work.
Or like doing certain
No.
things that I consider hard work.
Yeah.
Not suffering enough.
Yeah.
I know it because I've done it myself.
For example, I told you like last Friday having that sushi meal
Yeah,
was a whole afternoon
yeah.
in conversation with Alex.
Yeah.
Like I'm in prep, I'm going to have a sushi meal. Like
Yeah.
what's
Listen,
happening
I
here?
get that because like when I prep, it's that last prep, I didn't do any off-plan meals. I just did high days. And the reason for that is, again, I do sushi meals and burger meals with most clients when they need it, because calories are just calories, right? Especially at that point when you need a big influx of calories. But for me, it's muscle principle, right? It's a principle for me. It's and sometimes again, it probably held me back because at times I think you do need probably more calories than you realise. I should have probably had some sushi meals, but again, this is what I say to you: you've got to have that emotional attachment to be able to make the right decisions, and not decisions that you probably lean into emotionally a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Something
Not
that
everything.
makes me feel extremely confident about everything is that I know that also what we started this podcast is I'm surrounded by the best people
Yeah,
I can be surrounded
absolutely.
by.
Yeah, you can't get it wrong. man.
In all the terms of my life, I feel like everyone around me is
Yeah.
just there building a huge team of superstars, and that makes me feel incredibly like happy and incredibly just like confident on
what you want.
what I'm doing.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
And having that confidence in your ability as well is going to go a long way.
yeah,
but at the same time, don't burn the candle.
Don't bend the
Because
candle.
it's very easy to
Great.
do. It's very easy to do, man.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do, man. You've got to keep the candle on without burning it too much.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Also talking about this. Thank you so much for being that inspiration for us, living by example, and just by acting yourself. It's like you don't need to say anything, just to help us grow and help us evolve and use you as a mirror to keep growing.
My pleasure, man.
And
My
that's
pleasure.
huge. And thank you so much also for your time, for your hospitality, and for what you have built for yourself that we can all also enjoy.
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me. And likewise, man. Listen, it's teamwork makes dream work. That's what I'll say, yeah?
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. And we'll keep growing, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, man.
Let's go.
Brutal. Vamos al siguiente. Yeah, man.
Beautiful.